Hello, 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 and today is not a combo guide, a tier list, or play this character. I'm not trying to influence you in any particular way, per se. What we're doing is a series of case studies on all characters in the game, and who we're covering today is Gohan, Adult Gohan, the Kid Buu killer. Not sorry, Kid Buu killer, the Super Buu killer. Now, at first glance, when you see Gohan, this character has offensively. He has the only character in the game with a fast fall, so you're really mixing up your opponent with options. A standing low. If you're ready for like fast-paced movement, really stylish combos, then he's for you. Then this character is for you. Really stylish side switches and stylish combos, and Gohan is for you. Now, as always, we talk about characters in zones, buttons, supers, and specials before we talk about game plan. So, to go over again, you're going to hear me talk about up close, mid-range, and far. So, when we discuss characters in fighting games or these type of games, we like to discuss characters like this to help you break down complex concepts. So, for starting, let's start with Gohan up close. So, up close, as I said before, Adult Gohan has 5L, which is a standing low. Let me take off the damage and put on. Don't need damage, sorry. We need frame there. So he has a standing low. The second hit is obviously 14 frames, so if you're not close to the opponent, this is actually a bit slow. But still, it's -2. So it's really, really good, not really punishable there. His 2L is 0 on block. So this is one of the few normals in the entire game that's 0. So Gohan can put you in situations, his opponent, where your opponent kind of has to guess that. So that's 0 and 2. So this is kind of your ender of all your strings. He has a 5M, which is 9 frames, which is really good, but it is, sadly, this is -8 and -6 from far. If you're really, really far out, -5, but get really like here, it could be up to -5. So his punishable. His 2M is obviously -7. 2H, a really good 2H. So obviously good range, 5H as well. So his 5H hits from mid range. So if you round start, his 5H can hit from there. Same for his 2M, and is just about his 5M. Now, Gohan as well. He also has a great cross up M, so he can hit you from any angle. Cross up H as well. So your opponent has to be really wary when they're facing Gohan. And this is the funny thing about Gohan, and we're going to go into after when we go into specials. But those are kind of his buttons up close. 5S plus 3. But the funny thing about 5S is not only is it -45, it only hits crouches. I mean, people who stand. So bear that in mind when you're auditioning with Gohan. Now let's go into quickly his supers. Now supers, Gohan has. Oh, where's my ball? Gohan has an install super. What I mean by that, he goes level 1. He starts having electricity around him. Now this changes a few things to Gohan. Aside from damage and the like, what this does is this gives Gohan the ability to do 3L. So normally, when Gohan is in level 0, if you auto combo, if you LL, it's -2. So normally he gets to do this. But when he's leveled up, his 3L, if you press 3L this time, now it's a normal. So what this means is if you do LL now with Gohan, he gets his 5M as in his string. So you see all of this? And you can do 3L right after. Now, saying that there's a normal, I actually forgot. There's actually 3H as well. Gohan does have 3H. This is a good, if you look at, put it on invisibility. This is invisible jump attacks. So this is a really good kind of anti-air tool that you have. But for Gohan especially, if you extend his strings by doing L, 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 3L, he can do a really, really long strings there. Now, that's his level 1. Let's quickly go into... He has also a level 3, and obviously if you start increasing Gohan's levels to level 7, so if you keep going, Gohan can hold it, And in level 7, Gohan gains the ability to do strings backwards. So most characters can do LL and never go back. Gohan can do L into H into you can do a H into a light. So if you ever get into this mode, Gohan can do heavies into lights, into mediums. He can do anything he wants. So one of the only character in the game kind of who can mix up that kind of variance. Now we've covered, I could spend ages here covering super specials and all sorts, but we're going to go into win conditions and game plans because that's what we're here to talk about. So you're looking at Gohan, you first pick up Gohan and you're like, okay, what is my game plan? What am I looking out for? And what characters help with this? Now Gohan as a character, as you explained, up close he has various tools. He's got fast fall and great cross up buttons. He has a move that's 0 on block, so he's meant to really be in your face. However, when he's in mid range, here he's got 2M, 5 of this, and also specials. He has, quickly if you go over his specials, he's got a Dragon Punch, 236 L, 236 M. He's got DPs that obviously are invincible. He has Back Fist, so if you're not leveled, yeah, before we go on, let me go over this first. If you're not leveled, see Gohan's got so much. If you're not leveled, this is what it looks like. Gohan's jumping, even his DP, he's running. But when obviously he's leveled up, it grants a change to all of his specials. He disappears for a second. And even his DP has more range, so the range of his Dragon Punch goes from, he runs now. So bear that in mind. Anyway, going back to game plans, two things we're looking for in a partner. So Gohan, we saw that in this range, Gohan, apart from doing 5M into 3L, he doesn't have really confirmable things from here except 5H, and he really wants to be in your face. So Gohan as a character, when he's in this range and doing this is 2L, and he's 5 and his 5L and 5S, sorry, he really wants to be in your face, and the legs is where it starts. So Gohan is it's -1, right? So Gohan, when he does EX legs on block, for instance, if your opponent put on reflect, with the right assists, Gohan can put you in situations. Do it here. He can put his opponent in situations. Let's do it again. So that was a low. Do it one more time. You can do a high-low situation where your opponent really has to block. So with most assists in the game, Gohan can put, not even have to be level 1, it could be any level you want. See, I've never played with Boo before, so let's figure out. See there, see, we've got the low there. And let's see if Boo allows the high. See, you can do the high and the low with Boo as well. So even then, with both aces, we're able to do it. So assists that kind of allow him to do this and do his big damage, because Gohan himself, once you are cornered, if you delay your strings a lot, Gohan is really strong in the corner, as we saw with this. Really mixing up your opponent and getting him into the corner and really mixing up with your array of options. So using H legs and an assist that helps him really helps with that as well. And Gohan has really, really long strings. So when he's leveled up, there's so many points where your opponent really wants to press a button, but they're unable to. So Gohan is able to do really, really long strings that put your opponent into, let's go level 1. See, all of that, your opponent could not do anything that entire sequence. So getting assists that really help Gohan really pushes opponent to the corner or something that he enjoys. So Gohan, he's great mid-screen, but in the corner he's terrifying, especially combined with fast fall. So assists that obviously allow Gohan to get in and traverse space and do his long strings into DR or fast fall to really mix up the opponent, or mixing them up like this, because if your opponent wants to do 2H, for instance, let's see, this is a simple mix up here. Let's do it one more time. Oh, he's mashing 2H. I'll set it right now myself. So simple mix-ups like this with Gohan. You can really bait out your opponent. Your opponent tries to 2H. Gohan's able to do stuff like this. Or really mix up his opponent and really punish them for it. So as you saw in the corner, he's really powerful. So getting as fast as possible to the corner is what you want. So let's just go through the assists that we have here. We have obviously base Q assist. We saw, so this is a good assist for Gohan because from mid-range, where he doesn't really hit, base Q hits. And basically it's like plus 37. So this allows Gohan a unique situation to kind of jump around, traverse space, climb down, and go back in. So combined with base Q, and if this randomly hits, so if base Q randomly hits, Gohan can do unique things here. So that assist obviously works really well for him for traversing space, which because at the mid-range he doesn't really have anything here, and far away, aside from this and this, he's not really using the H legs or long strings. We saw with base Q it allows him to do the strings and that. Now Fat Boo as well hits so far out. So this assist hits really far out. So this allows Gohan, as you saw, it easily allows Gohan to confirm as well. So this is probably an assist that will be great for him. If we go into 2, we have Goku's charge. So this doesn't necessarily help him get in. So this might not be an assist that you probably might or may not use. It helps him do H legs by himself. So if we do put Gohan on H legs, but obviously H legs by themselves. So if he does H legs, it helps me do H legs. But aside from that, unless I bait out my opponent can always 2H, right? Unless I bait them. So aside from something like that, this assist might not be the one, because yes, it's building bar, but it's not helping Gohan get in or not. Now Fat Boo's Fat Throw. Let's try a Fat Throw now. So if we look at something like Fat Throw, it's plus 18, so it's not giving him the best on block. However, it's helping me extend strings, so potentially you could use this. It's not giving you the best, obviously, on block, especially with the legs. If you put on Reflect, it's not. It's a bit harder than using base Q, so it's something you have to really think about. Now on the other side, we have Bardock A. Now this is an assist that really goes straight. So this helps Gohan in the mid range where he himself doesn't want to overextend with minus buttons. So here they're all minus. So Bardock will probably help him get in, and also easy do strings as well. I say easily and I missed it. So there, so Bardock easy helps him. Then we have people like hit assist. If you do super dash plus hit, this also helps him get in as well. So these two assists are very similar. So these can help Gohan really traverse space. If you look at the distance of hits assist, so that can really help Gohan as well. So those help. Now we've talked at length about kind of what is helping Gohan and the strings. Now, what about fighting against? Now if you're fighting against Gohan, one thing you have to realize is Gohan himself doesn't have a conventional 5S. So if I'm adult Gohan here and I'm full screen, give me a second. If I'm adult Gohan and he's full screen, let me backdash. He has this button here, right? I put guard all so you can see. Now if he's facing characters like Majin Buu and he decides to do this, this hurts him. So unless he does 5S, you see that? That will hurt Gohan. So he has no way of kind of combating these characters unless he gets like a better jump angle. Unless he ever gets a better jump angle. But even then, he's a bit punishable on landing. Or even not even landing, if your opponent is running forward. One more time. If your opponent is running forward. Oof, I'm not punishing. There we go. If your opponent is running forward, they can punish you, so that is something we worry about. But Gohan obviously can mix up his options in the air. If you are another Gohan player, you could do this. But even then, that's up to your prerogative. So if you want to throw around the move that can be 2H, it's up to you. Now, as I said, he has no conventional 5S, so that is something you have to worry about when he's facing you. So, and not just that, more importantly, if adult Gohan is doing 5S, let's do the character. And you put Bardock on. Specifically, oh, what's going on? Let me do. There we go. Put Gohan on. Then pick Bardock. So I'm gonna show you. So this move itself, this 5S move is minus 45. So it's able to be punished by most characters in the game. So you see, there's minus 53 full screen. So most characters, if you're Bardock especially, people like Bardock can punish. So it's something to be wary about. So if you're people like hit or someone, you have to be really, really wary when you are facing when you are this character. People like hit or someone like Bardock can actually punish you. So be wary about when you're doing that. Now, strings. The next one is his string. So when he's in level 0, let's go level 0. When Gohan is in level 0, his strings do have some risks attached to them. So unless he's doing this 2L, he's too far. So if Gohan does 2L here, he's too far. This is 14 frames. Your opponent can interrupt. So even though it's 0, let's do it right here. Even though it's 0, hit's gonna do 5L. Hits 5L. What's this? Is 6 frames, right? This would clash, right? See, hits hitting me. So there has to be Gohan has some risk when he's doing his strings, especially if he does the 5M. Unless he does this, all of them are punishable. So unless he does into legs, there's risk for him. So he has to keep it really, really tight and safe, especially when he's in level 0. He has to do this and end his string here, or this and end his string there. So there's many points for there's not many points for your opponent to actually mess up. So in level 0. Here, your opponent can mash there. Even if you press 5M, your opponent can choose times when to interact with you. And also, as always, you can also backdash. So with adult Gohan as well, especially when he's doing all of this, you have that option to backdash as well. Now, when you're at level 1, even with no assist, even with level 1, there's still risk. So this is -2. So even then, if your opponent doesn't backdash, it's still -2. And even if Gohan does 6M, sometimes he's too far to hit this. So that's 14 frames. So even though you do a nice string with adult Gohan, so let's say with adult Gohan, and you do all of that, your opponent is able to IAD after nearly every single one of Gohan's 6Ms. So if I do this on block, so his solo pressure, let's block it. So your opponent's always able to escape. So you really can't lock down. You really can't lock down an opponent, and your opponent can always IAD. Well, no matter what you do with Gohan, your opponent's able to jump and IAD out of your pressure. So he has no real way to kind of lock down the opponent unless he goes into his mediums, into legs. And as we saw with legs before, legs by themselves, yes, he has an option like this that can't be 2H'd, and he can do this as well. But both of those options, if you do adult Gohan when you're facing him, both options, let me hold up back so. Both lose to just jumping up. So if you just jump up here, not lose, and you can punish if he decides to bait out your 2H. So here, normally this would bait 2H, and your opponent would hit you. But what you can do when you're adult Gohan, you hold up forward, you can actually punish your opponent there. So without assists, Gohan has to take quite a few risks in his pressure, fast falling, creating gaps. As this is -2, he has to take a risk to restart pressure. So everything he does is a risk. So even if he hits you from afar, especially when he does 5M from afar, here he has to do this. So if he spends, he has to do that. So just picking your spots of when to challenge when you're facing adult Gohan is really vital to facing him. Now we can spend a while talking about adult Gohan, so I do not want to. So let's just go back. So we talked about with adult Gohan, just to go over, we talked about kind of things he's looking for with partners. He's looking for partners that allow him obviously to traverse space, because full screen we saw he does have 5S and jump S, but they themselves by some characters are actually punishable. And if your opponent is really, really patient, full screen, he doesn't really have an approach out of Super Dash. So he needs partners, or he would enjoy partners that kind of allow him to traverse the screen and do those H legs on blocks and his long strings, and using his jump 2S to really confuse the opponent. And he's using his 5-0 and his level 1. So we saw with Kid Buu, with Fat Buu, both his assists help there. instinctively, obviously, that would mean C assist work as well, obviously, because they help him get in. But he really wants assists that help him traverse. We saw with Baseku, that was probably one of his better partners with his A assist, and obviously his B assist probably work not so much. C assist as well would naturally work too. Now, fighting against Gohan, we talked about how Bardock, he has no conventional 5S, so he's facing someone like Bardock who can punish his 5S, or Vegeta, the Teen Gohans, and we saw with Fat Boo was able to punish 5S. That's something you have to be wary of. You can be quote-unquote zoned out. And we also talked about how his strings in level 0 do have risk attached to them, and also he can't really stop you from doing anything. Apart from 6M and also the back fists, everything he's doing has a risk attached to it. So while Gohan is doing all these things, he's doing back fists, all the things, everything does have even his 6M. He can't stop you from blocking when he's doing his 6M. You're always able to jump away, always able to IAD out of his pressure. Even no assist, even with level 0, we saw there was some risk attached. Even with level 0, he does have points of when you are able as the opponent to take a risk. But it's something to think about as well, because it goes for him as well. But yeah, I hope this video helped someone. Please leave a comment if you liked the video. If you didn't, let's just talk about it. And yeah, I'm hungry, so I'll see you in the next video. Peace.